To approve the agenda.
Second.
Commissioner Anscher?
Yes.
Commissioner French?
Yes.
Commissioner Garrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Kalani?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil? Approve the agenda.
Yeah, no, I didn't hear my name. Yes.
Commissioner McNeil?
Thank you, yes.
Carol.
Good evening, Commissioners. I've got the first item here on the agenda.
Can I make a motion first? And then have a presentation. So I move that the CRW Board approve Carol Brigg, SFO, to conduct the first reading by title only of Ordinance 01-2019.
Second.
So this is our annual ordinance for fees and charges. I come to the board every year about this time. As an ordinance, it requires 2 readings, and so I have just been authorized to read the ordinance by title only, which I will do, and then I have a short presentation to kind of describe the changes that have occurred from this ordinance compared with last year. So ordinance 01-2019, an ordinance of the Clackamas River Water Board of Commissioners establishing rates, fees, and charges for services.
I don't think the board has yet voted on the motion. I think they'll hear your
No,
presentation.
No, they always do the presentation and then we do the vote.
But the actual reading of the ordinance by title should happen after you vote to approve Carol to do that.
Oh,
Okay.
Point of order.
Call the question.
What was your?
No, he was just correcting the point of order there.
Oh,
He's right.
So I think what you want to do is present
Okay.
the item, and then the board will vote on whether to approve reading by
Okay, and then
title
I can
only.
read.
and then you
Okay.
move it.
Certainly. So, what has changed in this ordinance compared with last year's ordinance is we are again presenting the final years. We've got future years of the 8-year rate increase. Now, last year, I talked about the rate increase that's going to take place effective after May 1st. I've included those numbers in here so you can see it as a comparison. But really what I'm asking for in this ordinance are the changes that will take place May of 2020 and May of 2021, which will be years 7 and 8 of the rate increase. We also are doing our annual change to our system development charges. It's increased with our standard methodology, which is the Seattle Engineering News Record. And so we multiply that, we use the multiplier on our system development charges to calculate a new rate. And we really don't have any other changes this year. There's no additional fees or charges that we feel like we need to ask for, and there's no increases in the fees and charges that we have done. I have modified the equipment and vehicle listing. So here's just included in the ordinance the water rates, base rate, and volume rates. System development charges is an increase of 0.83%. Last year we saw a much bigger increase. It was about a little over 7% last year. And as the construction activity has kind of leveled out this year, the increase was much smaller. So our system development charges for a full 3/4 inch meter is going from $5,209 to $5,252 effective July 1. And we have added some new vehicles to our vehicle and equipment list, or a vehicle and new equipment. We've got a F-150 service truck that we have acquired, so we've added that to the list. We've also acquired an asphalt concrete saw, so those items have been added. And then we go through the list, and things that have been surplus or removed from the list, those are taken off. So that's a 2001 Ford F-350 is no longer on the list, and the pushing machine and trailer has also been removed. I will remind the board that we have this equipment and these vehicles on the list. That doesn't mean that somebody can call us up and say, hey, I need a Ford F-150,
I was just gonna say.
That's not how it works. This is These rates are utilized when we are doing work for a customer and we calculate our time, materials, and overhead, which is included in our fees and charges booklet. And so if we drive that truck to somebody's place to install a service, the time on that truck would be charged as part of the cost of that project. So no other changes in the fees and charges. The document will be posted on the website after the second reading, when and if approved by the board. The second reading is anticipated to take place on the meeting at May 9th. And all of the rates are effective July 1st, with the exception of the water rates that throughout the 8-year plan, they have been effective after the April 30th bills. So that's the presentation.
The vehicle and the saw rate you mentioned there, does that include the driver or the operator?
No, we would also calculate the time.
Okay.
The rate for the employee that is.
For the personnel,
using it.
all right, thank you.
Any other questions?
So do we do the vote now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
Commissioner Archer?
Yes?
Commissioner French?
Yeah.
Commissioner Garrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Connie?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, now, ordinance 01-2019, an ordinance of the Clackamas River Water Board of Commissioners establishing rates, fees, and charges for services.
You're ready.
Bob, you're up.
Ready?
Yep.
Good evening, Commissioners. This item is a request that you consider approval of the settlement with Oregon Underground, which was the contractor for a project on Leland Road. This is an issue that I briefed the board on, I think it was last fall, so you have a little bit of background on this. We have obtained Oregon Underground's agreement to a settlement of that dispute, and if the board approves it, then that will allow the parties to resolve this. As you might recall, what happened was Oregon Underground was involved in a paving project out there. Less than a year, but several months after the completion of the project, some trenching, some settlement was observed above the trench that where the water line was installed. There is a dispute between the district and Oregon Underground as to responsibility for that settlement. And so this is a proposed resolution where neither side is accepting legal liability, but is sharing in the expense to fix the problem. The district's financial contribution is limited to $16,952.50, and Oregon Underground is required to complete the repair work, or whatever beyond that it takes to complete it. So are there any questions?
Who signs off on this? Do we inspect it ourselves? Us.
That's correct. The settlement provides that part of the settlement is that the district would be waiving the warranty that ordinarily would extend for another year beyond the repair work. That is only triggered if CRW signs off on the work at its completion. And so it's my understanding that staff will be monitoring the work and will have the ability to ensure that it gets done properly.
So I guess I should make a motion. I move to approve the proposed settlement agreement with Oregon Underground Incorporated regarding paving work on South Leland Road, and to authorize the general manager to execute it on behalf of Clackamas River Road.
Second.
Commissioner Anger?
Yes.
Wait,
Oh, I'm
there
sorry.
was more questions.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Todd, I was wondering if you've gone over this with the engineering staff and in general are comfortable with the settlement.
Yeah, you'll notice one of the pieces of the packet is the drawing provided by Joe SBA. So it's kind of provides the standards of what they have to do.
All right. Thank you.
Ready?
Vote.
Okay. Commissioner Anger?
Yes.
Commissioner French?
Yes.
Commissioner Garrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Klein?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Item 3.
Can I make a motion first, because that's usually what we do. I move to approve the IGA with Clackamas County for water system relocations during the Clackamas Regional Center Mobility Project.
Second.
Good evening, Commissioners. I informed the board I don't remember how many months ago, that we were working with Clackamas County to partner up with some work, and it was impacted by their CRC mobility project. And this is a culmination. They're getting ready to bid the project and start the work. And so we worked with the county staff to develop the intergovernmental agreement. This particular portion only addresses the design and drafting work that was needed to get the work into the contract package for the county. We'll be coming back to the board for approval of an amendment once the bids of the project are received by the county. The line items that are listed in the IGA at the end as Exhibit 1 of the scope of work by the consultant, which is Exhibit A to the IGA. Exhibit 1 is to the scope of work. It's spread all over the project, from Harmony Road all the way to I-205, and then there's some work on 82nd Drive as well. We thought a more effective way to deliver the repairs or the relocations to have it done by the contractor. We'll again inspect the work and coordinate with the contractor and consultant as they move the project forward. It's a multi-year project. Some of this will not occur until a year or two later. The first year, this year, they're bidding it. I understand that they're trying to get construction start on July 1. The majority of the work this year will be on the south side of Sunnyside Road. There's utility trenching, storm sewer work, and new sidewalks to go in there. They won't be doing the paving work or any work on 82nd Avenue this year. They're also going to start the widening of the bridge over I-205 on Sunnyside. That's another aspect that we aren't involved with, but is a long lead item for the project. And then the following year will be the 82nd Avenue and the Harmony work. A number of the items, if you read the list, are relocations of fire hydrants. There's one main relocation near 205. We have another project that we're currently designing in order to create a loop so that we can continue to provide water to the Monarch Hotel, the office building, and the restaurants on that dead-end line that we have to shut off in order to move our water line out of the way of their work. And that's a sign bridge for the think ODOT owns it, but
They
it's
do.
on,
On Sunday.
county right away. But it's the direction signs, it's a sign bridge that tells people where to go, north, south.
Lane use sign.
Yeah. So there's one there now, but they have to move it because they're widening, Sunnyside at that on-ramp south onto 205. Plus they're widening the bridge, so there's another lane in Sunnyside. So we have, that sign bridge foundation is jeopardizing our water line, so we're moving around.
Are any of these pipes ones that we would have replaced or done any repairs to in the near future, or is it simply just moving
We
things out of the
threw
way?
a couple of those in,
Okay,
kind of miscellaneous abandonments and relocations. If they didn't do anything out there, most of this we would not do.
okay,
If we didn't participate in this contract, our crews would have to go out at whatever beck and call the contractor schedule requires and move in and move a fire hydrant, relocate a line, lower a line because there's a new storm sewer in there. So this way, we aren't at the mercy of the contractor's schedule in order for us to go out there and get out of the way. They can pre-schedule it with their stormwater work in order to lower a water line or whatever that piece of work happens to be in this list.
Got some questions.
Sure.
I smell kind of a bridge. So it's the county's design in a county package, bid by the county, paid for by us, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
this portion.
Just like the Carver Bridge. So if there's bad work, bad design, who pays?
No, this, it's not as complicated as the Carver Bridge.
I know, no, I agree, I know, but it's the same exact relationship as we had in the Carver Bridge, and we took it for shorts. How do we prevent that from happening with this? We gotta do better. We've gotta do better than that.
I
We've
can't
gotta
speak
figure
to what
out
happened
some
at
way
the Carver Bridge.
to hold our ratepayers harmless from problems that they create.
This isn't uncommon as far as we work with the county on
Yeah, this
different.
is more similar to the relationship that was developed for the reconstruction of Monterey Street, in which they, in that particular one, it was another agreement that was done in two parts. And that was for the full design of the water line prior to, and then inclusion into the street design or construction package. This is miscellaneous pieces of work that
Yeah, there's work here, there's work there, there's
Right.
work all over the city, and at their schedule, not our schedule. The problem I worry about is, we have no way to control the costs. We're just writing checks.
well,
We've been there, done that.
all of these items, except for one, and that was the replacement of ballot boxes. We've asked them to replace old and aluminum ballot boxes with new stuff, which we would want to do prior to an overlay anyway. But the traffic control and the logistics of working in the middle of Sunnyside Road is a nightmare.
Been there,
And
done
to
that.
take advantage of the contractor's traffic control, and we're gonna oversee the quality control of that. All of these, other than those, are single price items, lump sum. So at a location, relocate a fire hydrant, on specific fittings and pipe length and all of that, one price. So each location has its own price, and when the contractor bids that price, that's what the price will be. We just don't know what that price is today. We have an estimate that was done by the county's consultant, and I have an estimate that I did. and my estimate is somewhere between $80,000 and $90,000. The county's consultant's estimate is in the neighborhood of $70,000. So we're in the same county, but what the contractor will bid, we never have control of that.
No, I understand that. What I'm concerned about is Bell Avenue. We didn't know everything was up. We didn't understand all the conditions. Prices went up, change orders were done over and over. They did that work, but we covered all the costs for all the extra stuff. We do that on every project. That's our stuff. We don't have any control over it. I don't have any trouble with that. That was ours. We owned that. Now we're giving that same thing to the county, and you're not gonna have control over that because it's not your contract. But they're still gonna send us a bill. How do we craft this thing? I just gotta put a cap on this someplace.
Can I jump in? Just really quickly, on this particular agreement for the design work, there is a cap. The IGA specifies that CRW will not be responsible for any amount over the amount that's listed in the exhibit, which is.
Well, in the IGA
The
that's
19,000.
presented tonight, it only includes the design fees by the county's consultant. And this is a scope of work, and frankly, I provided the design of this.
Oh, good.
I gave them PDFs, and I didn't bring my details, but I sketched details, and they recreated it on their sheets and put it in their contract.
Submitted to their bid package. Yeah.
Which will go in the bid package, right. And so, we just completed that review. Not only, I also provided specifications that are our standard specifications, so to include in their contract documents. So we have, at this stage, we've controlled the design and we've controlled the specifications and the agreed amount for consultants to draw that up and provide drawings for us for review and then redraft them based on our red lines and changes to the specifications, which we just completed. We're intending to bid this very shortly, so we're on schedule. So I'm not uncomfortable with where we're at with this. What price we don't know, and what Bob was pointing out, was that we don't know the bid prices yet, and we will come back to you with an amendment to this IGA that will include not only the design fees that are already included, but also the bid list of items and the prices associated with that. So when we get the the amended IGA in June, I'm guessing, we'll know what the cost of the project will be, both in design and construction. And I don't anticipate any change orders that would change the price of that. So I'm not uncomfortable with where we're at and where we're headed.
So I have another concern now that I know that we did the design for a county project. We went through that same problem with Carver Bridge. They tried to hang us for being responsible for the design, when in fact we didn't do the design. But in this case, we did do the design. We just got it on record that we did do the design for a county project. What's our risk for that? What if the contractor says, well, who did this design? This isn't gonna work. County, go talk to those guys.
Well, the contractor, typically in the contract is going to, sign off on the design, will acknowledge that it's been reviewed and that it's prepared to construct the project based on that design.
So it's no different than the argument we just had on this last item, it was with the underground. They claimed that we caused the problem, that was the claim.
They did argue that.
They did, they absolutely argued that, and whether it's valid or not, who knows, but that was what the argument was. It doesn't mean that that won't happen again, and so I'm concerned how, not that I don't want us doing the design, that I don't have a problem, I'm just trying to figure out control our risk and our costs. That's it, that's all I'm trying to figure out. I don't wanna go through another Carver Bridge again. That just doesn't, that's no fun.
No, that's a fair point. We'll have an opportunity in the amendment to the IGA when we have the information from the contractor for the construction contracting. If that needs to be dealt with in the IGA, we'll be able to.
Can you do that?
To try to protect against.
Clean that up. Okay.
Yeah.
That's all I care about, is we've got, the county does not have our interests at heart. They do not. They're into roads, we're into water. If there's a problem, you're on your own. If we haven't learned that, we're wholly responsible for that. So, please keep us straight.
I'm not a lawyer, but I don't think we can escape any liability from shop drawing review. It's just something about construction that those that do reviews have some culpability. Now, how much, that's to a court to decide.
And that's what they do.
With regard to the design drawings, the design drawings that the county produces, the county's consultant will produce, will be stamped by their PE. I'm not stamping those drawings.
Okay,
What
that's
the
good.
design I provided them is I said, I want this water line 4 feet from the foundation of that sign bridge. And we want 245s right here. I mean, it's very basic stuff. It's not complicated like a bridge where you're hanging thousands of pounds from under a giant structure. I don't know how to make you feel comfortable about that, but if there are other clauses that we can include into the IGA that would help protect us, I look forward to seeing what those might be.
Because it goes to court, at least it's always been divided up by percentages. You're 30% responsible, you're 25% responsible, you're 50% responsible, pay the claim. And I don't want us to be any percent responsible for it. We can manage our risk as best we can, but
There's a question.
the county doesn't have our interests at heart.
Do we have any say or control over the bid process itself, looking at prospective bidder as to whether they are capable of doing the work that we want done?
Not any more than we would on any of our projects.
Okay, well, that's a fair answer.
There are, I'm not sure what the word is for them. They have to be licensed by the Board of Contracting. We do check references, we check their insurance companies, make sure that they're bondable. And these are all the investigations you do once you receive a bid to determine whether they're responsible and responsive.
Okay, so now my question is, the county's gonna be putting up and receiving the bids.
Correct.
This checking that you're talking about, are we going to do that as well?
No.
Well, then you can't say that I mean.
They're a public
Commissioner
agency and they
McNeil.
have to follow the same rules we follow. These are not, individual rules.
So we can't step in there?
I don't see any reason to.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay.
Commissioner Andrew?
Yes.
Commissioner French?
Yes.
Commissioner Garrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Kalani?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil?
Do I have to vote?
You can abstain,
You can abstain.
I don't want to vote.
so you're abstaining.
I am, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll make the motion first before the presentation. I move the board approve the utility easement on tax lot 22E24, AA 00202, the Hatton Road Pump Station site, as described in attachment 1, and authorize the general manager to sign the easement documents.
Second.
Good evening, Commissioners. This easement is very similar to the one that we granted not too long ago at our 152nd Reservoir site to PGE. It is CRW granting an easement to a third party, and this is for the purpose of PGE installing the power drop to power our new pump station. So as you can see in the attachment, there's our pump station site. Doesn't look like that now. It's got a couple of buildings on it. Pump station project is well underway. And this is an approximate location of where, off of a pole that PG has yet to install on Grundman Road, where the buried service drop will come in to the transformer that's, the vault is installed on site. So,
The purple lines, power lines, or no?
yes,
They are, okay.
yeah.
Part of the land extension agreement in order to get power to the pump station.
Pardon?
As part of the land extension agreement with PG in order to get power. If you don't sign it, you don't get power.
Oh, yeah.
End of story.
Right.
It's the long and the short of it.
Yeah.
You do, you don't.
The easement itself, the document, again, it's, the form is pretty much exactly the same, besides the property specifics as the easement that was granted to PG for the 152nd power extension to power that site. So I don't have too much else to add.
Let's vote.
Commissioner
Any
Ranger?
questions? I'll call the question.
Commissioner Ranger?
Yes.
Commissioner French? Yes. Commissioner Garrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Kalani?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay. Do you want me to start on item 5? 5 will come before 5.5. Wasn't the 5.5 just an addition, an extra item?
Correct.
Okay. I move to approve the dispatchable standby generation agreement with PGE for the Hatton Road Pump Station and authorize the general manager to sign and execute the completed agreement.
Second. Any questions?
Do you have anything to say about it?
I could say a whole lot. I'll just add, this is a very similar agreement to
Okay.
what we have for the water treatment plant, when we installed the generator there in 2014. That agreement in form is again very similar to this one, with PGE. Really happy to report this. It was a few months back, we weren't sure that we were even going to get on the list for the DSG program with PGE because they're essentially maxed out on sites. We were told that we were first on the list because it was a new construction. They had some other places that are retro type, more complicated builds, and they had somebody fall off the program, and we jumped on it. So again, at the pump station site, this program is very beneficial to the district, as we've seen on the generator at the water treatment plant. Things like ongoing maintenance, fuel, annual permitting costs, and a capital contribution to build, help us build the generator facility, pump station, are all things that PGE will contribute as part of this agreement, and in return for allowing them access to excess power from that generator.
What was the size again?
1 megawatt. So half the size of our water treatment plant generator. Still a pretty big generator for what we do.
At the end of their line, at the lunatic fringe end of that feeder. I sure hope they've done the calculations right. You're gonna have all kinds of problems with starters.
They've done the calculations. We've verified those with our, in as much as we're part of that, with our electrical consultant. And they've even upsized the service that was required there, so.
Any other questions?
Yes,
Oh,
question.
wait, yeah.
Oh, I didn't see. This is number 5.
How could we forget you?
Exhibit 1, page 8. You just said 1 megawatt. AJ says 1,000 kilowatts, are those identical?
Yes,
That says kilowatts,
yeah, 1,000 kilowatts is 1 megawatt.
1 megawatt? Okay, wanted to double check that. Thank you.
We won't do it for less than a meg, will they?
Leave it on the half, 500 kW.
If we switch to back costs more than that.
Yeah, I don't know that it's cost effective.
No.
Anything else?
Okay. Commissioner Ander?
Yes.
Commissioner French?
Yes.
Commissioner Garrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Kalani?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Okay, here's the additional one.
5.5.
Move to approve the indemnification agreement with One Mark Center LLC and authorize the general manager to sign and execute the completed agreement.
Second motion.
So I appreciate the board being willing to add this agenda item kind of last minute. We had just found out about it. It's related to the CRC project, mobility project that Joe just got through describing in detail. This is basically for a bit of work that we're going to go out and do, some exploratory work. We're going to be digging in this area, right there, the top of, this is Sunnyside Road, and then Clackamas Town Center is up here, the freeway's over here, 205. What we're going to be doing is digging this area to verify, we have, we lack some historic as-built data for the characteristics of our water main in this area. So we need to dig it up, or excavate it, expose it, to verify that there's a valve and a key in that area, which will allow us, once we confirm that data, to design how we're going to realign a portion of the main out in Sunnyside, and then to accommodate the abandonment of the 12-inch across Sunnyside Bridge that's no longer in use. So the work that's going to be done will be using a back truck, so fairly non-invasive type excavation. Yeah, I mean, you're not going in with a backhoe and digging a much bigger pit. You just need to go in and pop literally a couple of small diameter holes to get down and verify what's in the ground. The reason that we brought this before you is that we get in here and get access to this area. You can see it's a big parking lot. This is a bank tower that One Monarch Center owns, the Monarch Hotel, they also own, which is down below. This yellow dashed line was vacated right away. The county vacated that. It was an old road right away before they rerouted 93rd out here. When it was vacated, the property line basically split in the middle of the 50-foot original road width. So what we have is room to work a 25-foot width from the property line, which is the red. And that's basically not enough room for us to get in and park our vehicles, although we're going to be digging again up here inside that area. So really, this is something that the property owner came to us with. They said it's standard practice for them. They like an indemnification agreement, a simple form signed that basically the whole harmless of something we're going to attack. Now, we're going in, we're doing very common exploratory work, following all of our standard safety practices. It's out of the way in the corner of the parking lot. We don't anticipate any issues, no traffic control, stuff like that as if we're in the roadway. And to access this from Sunnyside Road would really be a barrier because of traffic control. So it's a formality that the property owner has asked us to sign.
So we have a water line that we own in that abandoned right of way?
Yes.
Yeah.
And we don't have an easement and construction agreement already for that?
What exists, there's a document, it's an ordinance basically the county issued when the roadway was vacated.
Okay.
That protects our right to maintain and repair.
And other utilities?
And other utilities,
Right.
correct. Yes.
But the property owner, even though those are protected, wants further indemnification.
Yes.
He probably wants his property,
Yeah,
parking
that's-
put back together.
I think that's because there will be at least parking, if not work, outside of that right away.
Oh, there is.
They're, well,
That's my
yeah,
understanding.
they're concerned, I'm sorry, let me go to the next.
So we need to understand.
The next page. And it's a little crooked, I apologize, we're at 90 degrees from where Sunnyside Road's over here. So this is, the red is a delineated work zone, and again, we're gonna be digging around this tree. The property owner has acknowledged that this is all gonna become county right-of-way at one point, as the CRC project expands the sidewalk and this similar here. So this is all gonna be county right-of-way, shifted over to county right-of-way anyway. The property owner acknowledges that certain things like the tree and the bushes and landscaping don't need to be replaced or repaired, because it's gonna get taken out by the county. This is really
Excuse
just for us.
me, when is the county
that in
going to
the
do?
document?
Pardon?
The fact that the trees don't need to be replaced, is that mentioned in the document? Or no?
Yeah, there's language in there about the activity work description, where we're not removing the tree per se, we're gonna be limbing it to some degree
Oh,
to get
okay.
access to.
We're gonna make it ugly. We're just gonna make it ugly.
Just to
Okay.
get room to swing our broom in there to do the work we need to do.
So my question is, when's the county gonna do the right of way taking?
I believe as Joe mentioned, this piece of work is later, is that right, Joe?
I think it's one of the first things they're gonna do.
Okay,
Do
my
they?
mistake.
So it's early in their schedule?
If you bear with me. I don't have the county drawings with me right now. This curb line, which currently defines the Sunnyside corridor, will be cut and it comes in like this. So these parking spaces go away. This is the area that we're gonna excavate right here. This tree goes away. There's a big utility trench. They're making utilities, power and communications, go underground under the freeway. So there's a new joint trench that comes down here. And then right here is a great big vault for PGE.
Switching.
And so, I know that the utility trench is one of the first things they're gonna do. And so this all gets wiped out. I believe they've already got the taking. So whatever they took here, they've already done it.
Okay.
I believe the property owner is just looking for an indemnification so that when Mark crews are out there digging, they'll have a truck parked here or parked here. If a bystander gets hurt by our truck, he doesn't wanna get sued.
Right.
That's what this is all about.
Right,
Because
that
that's
is,
my.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's how we need to hear it.
I have one more question. What's the age of our service lines out there? You said that we don't have as-built information on it. Is it over 50 years old?
Yeah, I believe it's 60s era.
Okay.
Well, that was built with Town Center under the county CIP with their steel, so that was built in 70, 71.
Okay, yeah, I may be mistaken there.
It's like 84.
Mid-80s.
So you're starting to work there?
79?
The line that runs through that vacated roadway is
Yeah.
the dead-end line that feeds all of these folks that I just spoke about.
Mhm.
Not only that big office building, but the Monarch Hotel and 2 restaurants. So down at Sunnybrook, we're doing a loop, and we haven't bid that yet, so you haven't seen too much about that. That's to backfeed that. So one of the valves we're looking for, which we can't see on the surface, is to isolate that section when they cut the line out in Sunnyside Road to move it away from that sign bridge I just spoke about. So this is all interconnected in this CRC issue.
So you'll have to do the work on Sunnybrook before this work can happen for the road.
Yes. Now, we're working with the same property owner for right of entry into the Monarch area
At the other
in order to do along the frontage of Sunnybrook.
Yeah. And the fire department knows about this when we make the swap. So all those friggin' hydrants in that parking lot are dead enders.
Actually, when we put the loop in, the hydraulics gets much better.
Oh, it does, yeah, but I mean,
Yeah.
while you're dead ended, it's.
Agenda 6.
Wait, do we need to vote?
Oh,
Gotta vote.
too much of it.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner French?
Yes.
Commissioner Garrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Claudia?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Now we're up to 6. Move to approve a personnel services contract for information technology, IT support, and IT system maintenance subscriptions agreements with Rapid Tech for a not to exceed amount of $74,000.
Second motion.
A quick staff report on this is that this is coming before you because this amount exceeds the general manager's authority as far as the contract. We've already have been in a contract with Rapid Tech for the services that they provide to help us maintain our IT system. What this is doing is continuing with that contract. However, it's also adding in the maintenance agreements and service agreements that we also purchase through them, that we're trying to bring it all under one contract instead of doing it piecemeal. So everything is consistent with what we've been doing in the past. It's just we're bringing it all under one contract.
Any questions?
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner French?
Yes.
Commissioner Garrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Claudia?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Move to approve the consent agenda?
Second.
Commissioner Andrews?
Yes.
Commissioner French?
Yes.
Commissioner Garrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Claudia?
Yes.
Commissioner McNeil?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Ready for the management report?
Okay.
All right, first thing, just to point out in your package, you have 3 items. One is your monthly report. Second is the latest billing insert that will go with the April billings. And then also a copy of the consumer confidence report that is made available. That's a federal requirement that we put together this information for customers and make it available to folks indicating water quality information for this past year. So those are the explanation of the items that are in your packet. In addition to that, Carol's got a bunch of binders, and so.
Oh, I was wondering about
It
those.
is
Yep.
homework.
It is homework. So, this is the proposed budget documents that we will then be discussing at our first budget committee meeting on the 18th, so next
This is more crap
Thursday.
than I had in college.
It's an exciting read.
So this document is available on our website, and then we're distributing that information to all the budget committee members, so everybody should have those documents by tomorrow, and the information's also on the website, so there's your reading pleasure for that.
Do we get a hand truck for all this moving and stuff?
I got a pickup,
There you
you
go.
want?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's budget.
Yeah.
Couple things in the agenda that I want to highlight real quick. First off, just to note that our water system survey for our south service area has been complete. And what this is this is a on-site inspection of not only some of our facilities, but also our records associated with how we operate our water system. This is conducted by the Oregon Health Authority's drinking water services staff. And so they come out, meet with our folks, go through our records, visit some of our sites. This occurs every 3 to 5 years, depending on how you do with the previous survey. We do, one thing to note, we do 2 currently because we have 2 different water system numbers. So we do a south one, which this is what this is for, and one for the north as well. I think with respect to the survey itself, one of the report notes that the water system facilities were found to be well operated and maintained by knowledgeable and competent staff, so that was nice. We did unfortunately have two things that we had to correct. So one was a screen that was out of place on a reservoir, so you can see that they get pretty detailed. And the second one is a report that we insist they filed, but they didn't have it. So we refiled that report with them. The information was complete. So that conducts that. We'll be moving on next to the one for the north side. Here will be coming up soon. With respect to the Clackamas River water providers, they did approve their budgets, and one of the things I wanted you to be aware of is been talking a lot about kind of taking some additional efforts as it relates to our summer water supply messaging, especially in the fall, late summer and early fall, given some of the river flow conditions and the challenges that we had this last year. So the good news is the group wants to be more active in what we do with respect to our messaging, and so it's been working on developing some new messaging that our plan is to bring that to you in the May work session to kind of go through what that would look like and get your feedback on how that, and then we'll incorporate that feedback at the next CRWP meeting. I've also been approached to be the chair of the CRWP. I have not given them an answer or anything like that. Wade Hawthorne's been the current chair for a number of years, and he wanted to pass that on, so I wanted to make you aware of that. Moving on, as far as the water quality update, a couple things I wanted to highlight is we've really been taking steps to improve our water quality lab capabilities, especially as it relates to being prepared for the additional requirements for cyanotoxin monitoring. And so we've procured some additional equipment that's going to put us in a position to meet the additional requirements that water systems are going to be required to do as it relates to cyanotoxin. The other good news is that it gives us a lot quicker results. A lot of this work right now currently has to be done outside the state, which is what the city of Salem ran into, is some of the delays on getting that information. And then it actually works really well with some of the other monitoring efforts that we do in the watershed as well.
The training and qualification on that equipment is underway or completed?
It's underway, so we just got the equipment, and so we're been in the process, and then we're going through the putting the paperwork together for the ORLAP certification process.
Okay, thank you.
So the cost for that weren't in the budget, but were mandated after the fact?
Yeah, so this is one of these things where the cyanotoxin rules are.
Yeah, no, I just, for the budget process, that's just one of those things that for
Yeah, we did have.
a biennial budget versus an annual budget, you can't see all of that stuff when you're doing it. And so there are all these surprise costs that budgets can't deal with.
Yeah, and so we did have some room in our capital outlay budget and our water resources that we were able to procure that equipment under, so that was the benefit there. As far as emergency management, just wanted to note the VHF radio program is proceeding on schedule and within budget, and so there's a lot more details as far as the work that Dom's been working on to get things moving and planning. As far as some items to look ahead on, we will be doing a tour of the district for the new CRW budget committee members tomorrow, and so we'll be taking them on a quick tour to get them familiarized with the district before the meeting on the 18th. Reminder that we do have a meeting on the 18th at 6 p.m. here in this room.
6:30. Oh, 6, that's right.
No,
That's six.
this one's 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And just also a reminder, you should have been pulled from your calendar, but the work session scheduled for April 22nd, our normal work session has been canceled. So we've got a number of different budget committee meetings in April that's taking up that calendar. A couple items not in the agenda that I just want to make you aware of is last meeting we talked a little bit about the budget committee vacancy process, and so the direction was I went back at the agenda setting meeting and met with Commissioners Kwame and French to kind of discuss how we wanted to proceed with this, and kind of the direction was that we'll post the position in mid-June on the CRW website, and then we'll include that information in our June billing insert, and then we'll close that application process in July, probably before the July work session, so we can compile that information, provide it to you at that work session, and then appoint that position in August. So that was kind of the time frame that was discussed. Another item as it relates to the Moss Adams examination, you either have or will be contacted by Moss Adams, so that you have an opportunity to discuss any governance concerns or things or objectives that you want to see with respect to the examination of the bond construction fund. I believe they're trying to get those conducted next week, and so be prepared for that phone call. And as was noted earlier, they provided a target date of May 15th for the report, so they'll be working on that.
So do we know what phone number they're gonna call?
We gave them your
Your contact list.
contact list that we
Okay,
have.
so they'll try all.
I'm assuming so.
I have no, I don't know, it's your information, I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, we provided the standard contact information that we have for all the commissioners. So if there's a particular number you want to make sure they call, let us know, we can take care of that. So, let's see, we filled our vacant water quality technician position. And so Alan Schatz will be joining CRW this next Monday. Alan has extensive experience in water quality and water treatment. Most recently worked for the North Clackamas County Water Commission, and so they'll be coming to join CRW this Monday. Also, just wanted to let you know, as kind of a side note, CRW, we teamed up with BCA, the vet clinic here, to host a blood drive on April 3rd. So we'll collect 22 pints of blood. Something that I don't think has been done for a while, that one of our staff suggested. And then also wanted to let you know that the North Clackamas Chamber is hosting their annual Congressional Forum Breakfast on Thursday, April 25th at 7:30. The Forum Breakfast will feature U.S. Congressman Kurt Schrader, will be providing an update. It'll be held at the Abernathy Center in Oregon City, and it's open and available for you to attend, so if you want to attend, let us know, and so we can get you registered for that. The deadline is Monday, so tell Karen either tonight or Monday.
Well, that would only be if we didn't have a second budget meeting, because that's the same night.
It's in the morning, 7:30 a.m. for the breakfast forum. So they'll feed you breakfast and you get a lesson. And then reminder, you do have an executive session tonight, so that'll be right after this meeting. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Commission reports, commissioner reports. Anything? Any reimbursement requests? That's been settled for someone. Anything else at all?
So Commissioner Club, you'll want to adjourn the regular meeting and then read the basis for the executive session.
This one, right? Okay, we adjourn the regular meeting, and now the Board of Commissioners is convening an executive session 2. Number 1, discuss information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection pursuant to ORS 192.660, 2F, and 192.355.9. Number 2, conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions pursuant to ORS 192.660, 2E. 3, review and evaluate the employment related performance of the chief executive officer of any public body.
Did we postpone that?
No.
Okay.
A public officer, employee, or staff member who does not request an open hearing pursuant to ORS 192.660 2I. Open meeting is adjourned.